When I found out my wife was cheating on me with my brother, I faked my death and let the world blame her. My name's Tom. I'm 44 years old. I work with my hands, did electrical most of my life, now I do small contracting jobs, odd repairs, whatever folks around town need done. I've lived in the same county in Pennsylvania since I was born. And up until about a year ago, I thought I had a decent life. I was married to a woman named Karen. Yeah, I know Karen, but she wasn't like the meme. She was sweet, quiet, thoughtful in her own way. We met when we were 20. She worked at a little roadside diner, and I was part of a crew wiring a new strip mall across the street. First time I saw her, she was refilling someone's coffee, singing along to the jukebox like no one was watching. Something about her just hit me. I asked her out 3 times before she finally said yes. Said I looked like I still lived in my mom's basement. She wasn't wrong, I just moved out that spring. We dated for 2 years, then got married in her grandma's backyard. Her uncle grilled hot dogs. Her cousin DJ'd with a pair of old speakers and a burned CD. And it was perfect. Honest to God, perfect. We bought a small house just outside of town. White siding, red door, saggy front porch. Nothing fancy, but we made it home. She painted the kitchen yellow. I built shelves in the garage. We planted a maple tree in the front yard the same year we got Max, our golden retriever. That dog meant the world to us. Karen worked at a bank, I kept doing electrical. We settled into the rhythm of life. Grocery runs, weekend drives, birthday dinners with her sister's kids. No kids of our own, we tried for a while, but it just didn't happen. Still, we had enough. At least I thought so. Our friends used to say we were solid. Dependable. You two are rock steady, someone said at a cookout once. And I remember Karen smiled at that, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. I noticed it, but I didn't press. You live long enough with someone, you start ignoring the little things. You assume it'll pass. You trust that love is enough. Looking back, maybe I should have asked more questions. But at the time I thought we were good. Not exciting. Not thrilling. But good. We had a routine. Every morning I'd pour her coffee while she dried her hair. She'd leave post-it notes in my lunchbox, dumb jokes, or I love you in her curvy handwriting. I thought that meant something. I really did. For 17 years I believed we were building something together. A life. A future. Side by side. Turns out I was building it alone. It started with the little things. At first, I didn't think much of it. Karen would come home from work and head straight to the shower. That wasn't unusual. She'd always liked to rinse the day off. But now she'd lock the door, which she never used to do. And she started taking her phone with her everywhere, bathroom, laundry room, even just to get the mail. One night I got up to grab a glass of water around 2 in the morning. Her phone lit up on the nightstand. I didn't touch it, but I saw a notification pop up. Just a name, Rick, and a heart emoji next to it. Then it disappeared. Rick is her sister's husband. My brother-in-law. We'd gone on family trips together. Done yard work at each other's houses. He'd helped me replace our damn water heater the year before. I had no reason to think anything of it until that moment. I laid back down like nothing happened, but I didn't sleep. From then on, I noticed more things. Karen started dressing nicer when she went to the grocery store. She bought new perfume I'd never smelled before. She was more distant. Not angry. Not cold. Just somewhere else. She stopped laughing at the shows we used to watch together. Started taking calls on the porch with her back to the window. She'd smile, nod, whisper. One Saturday morning she told me she had to work overtime, said the bank was short-staffed. I offered to drive her. She got this strange look, then said no, that she'd already arranged a ride with a coworker. I didn't argue. But the whole day I couldn't shake the feeling something was wrong. I started running through everything in my head. Every conversation. Every late night. Every little lie I'd ignored over the years. I wanted to be wrong. God, I wanted to be wrong. But deep down, something inside me, something old and quiet, whispered the truth. My wife was cheating on me. And if that message on her phone meant what I thought it meant, it was with Rick. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Because if I was going to accuse her of something that big, I needed to be damn sure. So I made a decision. I was going to find out the truth no matter what it cost me. I wasn't proud of what I started doing. But once that seed of suspicion takes root, it doesn't stop growing. Keeps whispering in your ear, day and night. You start noticing everything. Every glance. Every pause. Every excuse. You start hearing lies in places there used to be silence. So yeah, I started snooping. First thing I did was check the phone bill. Karen and I had a shared plan, always had. I logged in and filtered by number. There it was, Rick's. Dozens of texts a day. Calls late at night. One of them at 1:12 a.m. lasted 17 minutes. That one hit me hard. You don't call someone's wife at 1 a.m. to talk about interest rates. Still, I told myself maybe it's family stuff. Maybe something's going on with her sister or the kids. I was grasping. I didn't want to believe it. Next, I started watching her comings and goings. Nothing crazy, just mental notes at first. What time she left for work. What time she came back. If she said she was stopping at the store, I'd check the fridge when she got home. Most times, there wasn't anything new in it. One evening, I followed her. She left around 6:30. Said she was grabbing coffee with a friend from work. I waited 10 minutes, then got in my truck and stayed a few cars back. She drove right past the coffee shop she mentioned. Right past the bank, too. She pulled into a little side lot behind a motel. One of those old roadside places with flickering neon and curtains that don't quite shut all the way. And that's where Rick's car was. Same damn truck I helped him fix up last summer. She didn't even look around. Just walked right up to the door like she'd done it 100 times. I sat there, hands shaking, trying to breathe, trying to make sense of it. I didn't go inside. I didn't cause a scene. I just sat there for almost an hour until the lights went off behind the curtains. Then I drove home. When I walked into the house, Max came wagging up to me like nothing was wrong. I sat on the couch in the dark, petting him, staring at the wedding photo on our mantel. Karen came back just after 10. She smelled like the new perfume again. Told me her friend had just gone through a breakup and needed to talk. I said, "Hope you helped her feel better." She smiled, kissed me on the forehead, and went to bed. That was the moment I knew. 100%. She wasn't just cheating. She was lying to my face, living a double life. And she thought I was too dumb or too loyal to ever figure it out. But now I had the truth. And I had to decide what the hell I was going to do with it. A week later, Karen said she was going to the movies with a couple friends from the bank. Some chick flick with a name I forgot the second she said it. She asked if I wanted to come. Almost like a test. I said no. Told her I had a wiring job in the morning and wanted to get some sleep. She nodded, kissed me on the cheek, and left in jeans that hugged her tighter than usual and that same damn perfume. 10 minutes later, I followed. I kept my distance, driving without headlights for part of the way. It was a Thursday night, not too crowded. She pulled into the movie theater on the edge of town, the one with the old carpet that smells like butter and feet. I parked 2 rows back from her and waited. And then I saw him. Rick. He got out of his car and walked right up to her. No hesitation. No checking over his shoulder. Like this was just another date night. They laughed about something and walked into the theater side by side. Not touching, but close enough. Close enough to read the history in their body language. I gave them 5 minutes, then went in. I bought a ticket for the same movie she said she was seeing. Theater 3. I kept my head down, hoodie up. The place was almost empty. Just a few scattered people eating popcorn and checking their phones before the previews started. And there they were. Row F, dead center. She leaned her head on his shoulder like she used to do with me. He kissed the side of her hair. That's when it hit me, they didn't look guilty. They looked comfortable. Like this wasn't their first movie. Like this was their thing. I sat 3 rows back. Far enough to not be seen, close enough to feel every bit of it. I didn't watch the screen. I watched them. Every whisper. Every smirk. Every touch. And in that dark theater, something in me just shut off. Like a breaker flipping in my chest. The pain didn't explode, it just settled. Low and quiet. Like it was always supposed to be there. I don't even remember driving home. When I walked through the front door, Max came up wagging his tail, same as always. Loyal. Dumb. Happy to see me. I collapsed onto the couch and stared at nothing. Karen came home 2 hours later. Said the movie was cute but kinda boring. Said she and the girls grabbed frozen yogurt after. She took off her shoes, washed her face, crawled into bed. And I just sat there in the living room staring at the wedding photo again. Same one that had been sitting there for 17 years. Her in a white dress. Me in a wrinkled suit. Smiling like idiots. I didn't sleep that night. And I didn't follow her again after that. Because I didn't need more proof. What I needed now was a plan. I didn't talk to anyone about it. Not my sister. Not my buddies. Not even the guy at work who's always bragging about how he just knows when a woman's lying. I didn't want sympathy. I didn't want advice. I just wanted to think. For the next couple days I went through the motions. Got up, went to work, came home, ate dinner, pretended like my life wasn't circling the drain. Karen kept acting like nothing was wrong. She'd hum while folding laundry, ask me if I needed anything from the store, text while smiling at her phone like a teenager. And I just nodded along, gave her the same dull smile I gave strangers at the gas station. But inside, I was choking on it. I thought about confronting her, telling her I knew, laying all the proof out on the kitchen table and watching her squirm. I even rehearsed it in my head, over and over. I pictured her face when I said Rick's name, pictured the lies turning into stutters. But then what? She'd deny it, then cry, then maybe admit to some of it but not all of it, then say it didn't mean anything, that it was a mistake, that she still loved me. And maybe if she cried hard enough I'd believe her, or pretend to. And we'd live in that house like nothing ever happened and I'd rot from the inside out knowing the truth and doing nothing about it. So then I thought about Rick. Should I tell my sister? Should I blow the whole thing up and let that side of the family burn down with it? What if she didn't believe me? What if she already knew and just didn't want to admit it? Should I drive over to Rick's house and knock his damn teeth in? I thought about it. More than once. But the more I pictured it, me screaming, throwing punches, getting arrested, Karen watching from the porch with fake tears and a camera phone, the more it felt like giving them exactly what they wanted. Drama. Chaos. A way to make me look like the crazy one. And then something hit me. What if I didn't do any of that? What if I just disappeared? No fight. No final word. No explanation. What if I just vanished and let the silence speak for itself? It started out as a passing thought. A weird little daydream while I was scraping paint off a customer's fence. But then it stuck with me. Because the more I imagined it, the more I liked it. What would they say? What would they think if I was just gone? A man doesn't just vanish unless something's deeply wrong. Maybe they'd feel guilty. Maybe they'd panic. Maybe Karen would start shaking every time the doorbell rang, thinking I'd come back to ruin her new little world. Maybe she'd finally understand what she threw away. I went home that night and stared at my reflection in the bathroom mirror. Hair thinning. Bags under my eyes. Same t-shirt I'd worn 2 days in a row. And I said it out loud for the first time. I'm gonna disappear. Not because I wanted to hurt her. Not even because I wanted to hurt him. But because I wanted to be free. Once I said it out loud, I couldn't shake it. I'm gonna disappear. And not just leave town for a few days. Not go sleep on a buddy's couch or check into a motel with a fake name. I was talking about vanishing like I'd never existed. It sounded insane at first. Hell, it was insane. But the longer I sat with it, the more it made sense. I didn't want revenge in the usual way. I didn't want a divorce with paperwork and court dates and lawyers picking apart my life. I didn't want to sit across a table from Karen and pretend we could split things clean down the middle. There's no halfway when someone burns your whole world down. I wanted to ghost the whole damn mess. Walk away and leave nothing but questions behind. So I started planning. Quietly, I sold a few of my tools, the ones Karen wouldn't notice missing. Got cash for them. I stopped using our debit card and started pulling out money in small amounts, just $50 here, 80 there. Enough to add up without setting off alarms. I bought a cheap flip phone. Prepaid, no contract. Picked it up from a gas station 2 towns over. Started looking online for places to disappear. Off-grid cabins, hunting shacks, old ranger posts. Most were too pricey, too close, or too visible. Then I remembered this cabin I stayed at once with my dad when I was 16. Middle of nowhere. No address. Just coordinates. Dirt road. No neighbors, no cell service. I looked it up again and, by some miracle, it was still there. Run down but rentable. Paid in cash. No ID required. I took 2 weeks off work. Told the guys I was helping my cousin rebuild a deck out west. Karen didn't even blink. I started gathering supplies. Canned food. Water jugs. Batteries. Fire starter. A little black and white TV with an antenna that barely worked. I figured I could make it a few weeks, maybe more, before I had to move again. Packed it all up in the back of my truck while Karen was at work. Every night, I rehearsed the route in my head. Drove it in the dark once, just to be sure. No cameras on the highway ramp. No tolls. No one who'd remember seeing me. The last piece was what I'd leave behind. If I just disappeared, maybe people would think I ran off. Abandoned my life. Started over with some younger woman in another state. But that wasn't the story I wanted them to tell. I wanted it to feel like a tragedy. I wanted it to sting. So I printed out the photos, Karen and Rick, outside the motel, sitting together at the diner like they were on vacation. I printed 6 of them, laid them out neatly. No note, no explanation, just enough to make people start asking the right questions. And then one morning, before the sun came up, I loaded up my truck, gave Max one last long hug, and left. No goodbye, no second thoughts, just the sound of tires on gravel and a plan already in motion. The drive out to the cabin took a little over 7 hours. I didn't listen to music, didn't turn on the radio, just the sound of tires humming on back roads and my own thoughts bouncing around like loose nails in a coffee can. I kept thinking someone was going to stop me. Like a cop would pull me over for speeding and see through it all, this guy's up to something. But no one did. No one ever does when you're fading away slowly. I stopped once for gas at a place that didn't even have a card reader. Paid in cash. Kept my head down. Wore a hat low and sunglasses even though it was overcast. The clerk didn't say a word. When I finally reached the turnoff for the cabin, the road turned to dirt and gravel, thick with mud in places. I had to take it slow, weaving around fallen branches and potholes. No cell service. No GPS. Just my memory and a printed map in the passenger seat. And then there it was. Same old wooden structure. Leaning a little more than I remembered, roof sagging at one corner, porch half rotted through. But it was standing. Still there. Like it had been waiting for me. I parked out back where no one could see the truck from the road, not that anyone ever came down this way. The last time this place probably had visitors was during the Obama administration. I unlocked the door with the rusted key the owner mailed me. It stuck in the lock for a second, then gave way with a loud click that echoed like a shotgun in the quiet. Inside, it smelled like dust and pine and something vaguely dead, a mouse, maybe, or just old time. The kind of smell that settles into your clothes and your thoughts. There was no running water. No electricity. Just a wood stove, a hand-pumped sink, and a mattress that looked like it had seen at least 2 divorces and a raccoon attack. I unloaded the supplies. Cans of beans, boxes of pasta, a crate of bottled water. A hand-crank radio, that tiny TV with rabbit ears, some old batteries, matches, a tarp. Everything I'd need to be invisible for a while. The first night, I sat on the porch steps with a flashlight and a warm can of chili, listening to the wind rustle through the trees. No cars. No voices. No buzzing phones. It was quiet in a way I hadn't felt in years. At first, it was almost peaceful. But peace has a weird way of turning into loneliness real quick. By midnight, I was talking to myself. Saying things out loud just to hear a human voice. Saying Karen's name like it still meant something. I crawled into bed with my boots still on and laid there staring at the ceiling. I had no service, no plan past the next few weeks, no idea if I'd actually pulled it off. But I wasn't at home. And she didn't know where I was. And for the first time in a long time, that felt like a win. 3 days after settling into the cabin, I made the final trip. It was early. Fog still hanging low over the trees. The kind of gray morning where everything feels like it's holding its breath. I packed a backpack with the last few things I didn't want to leave behind. A small photo of me and Max from years ago, my dad's old knife, and a note I never planned to send. Then I drove. About an hour south of the cabin, there's a lake. Cold, deep, and quiet. Locals say it drops off fast. Just a few feet from the edge and you're over your head. I found a turnout near one of the steeper drops. Just gravel and brush, no guardrail. Perfect. I pulled the truck right up to the edge, close enough that one wrong move and it'd be in the water. I killed the engine and just sat there for a moment, listening to the tick of the cooling motor and the soft splash of water below. Then I got to work. I laid out everything on the passenger seat. My wallet, driver's license, watch, and wedding ring. A pack of gum Karen always used to steal from me. And the photos. 6 of them, printed in full color. Karen and Rick outside the motel. Karen laughing across the table at that diner. Him with his hand on her leg. Her leaning into him like she used to lean into me. I laid them out like puzzle pieces. No envelope. No message. Just truth. Then I opened the glove compartment and shoved an old pair of work gloves inside. Like maybe I'd been planning a project that never got started. Left a few empty water bottles on the floorboards. Opened the driver's side door, just a crack. Everything staged, but not too perfect. I stood there for a while, hands in my pockets, looking down at the water, watching the fog swirl, wondering how long it'd take for someone to find the truck. I didn't feel fear. Not guilt. Just this weird, empty calm. Like I'd finished something important and didn't need to explain it. I walked back up the road a quarter-mile, where I'd stashed my bike in the brush the day before. Cheap mountain bike. No one would remember it. Rode it all the way back to the cabin, slow, quiet, invisible. By noon, I was back on the porch, dirt on my jeans, hands shaking just a little. I flipped on the radio. Static. Opened a can of soup. Ate it cold. That night, I sat by the wood stove and watched the flames flicker, and I told myself one thing. You're dead now, and no one knows it but you. It took 3 days. I watched the clock, kept track by carving little lines into a plank near the wood stove, like I was doing time. Every morning I cranked up the old radio hoping for something. Static. A whisper. A voice. Then finally a signal. It was just after 8 a.m. cold morning. Frost on the inside of the windows. I was eating dry cereal out of a mug when I heard it. Police are searching for a missing man last seen earlier this week in Lancaster County. Thomas Reynolds, 44. I froze. They said my name like it belonged to someone else. I turned the volume up. Was believed to be driving a silver pickup truck that was found abandoned near Lake Morrow yesterday afternoon. His personal belongings were found inside the vehicle, including his wallet, ID, and cell phone. Authorities are not ruling out foul play. I sat there, holding that mug like it was the only thing keeping me tethered to the floor. Then I smiled. It worked. They found the truck. They found the photos. They had no body, no answers, just a mystery. By that evening, it was all over the local news. Karen's face flashed across the TV, pale, blotchy, tears running down her cheeks. Sitting on our front porch, with a blanket draped over her shoulders like she'd just survived a tornado. She was crying into the microphone, talking about how much she loved me, how she just wanted me to come home. And right behind her, standing a little too far back to look completely innocent, was Rick, looking like he didn't know where to put his hands. The anchors said the truck was found near a dangerous drop-off. He may have fallen, one said. Or jumped, another offered, softly. But then they mentioned the photos. Not in detail, just that personal effects were found in the vehicle that raised new questions about the nature of Mr. Reynolds' disappearance. That's when it started to spread. Online forums, Facebook groups, Reddit threads. Strangers picking apart my life like detectives in a crime show. People were asking, why would a man vanish right after learning his wife was cheating? Was it suicide, or was it something darker? Karen stayed off social media for a few days, but then came back posting pictures of us. Old ones. Her smiling next to me at a pumpkin patch. A selfie from the lake years ago. Captioned with things like, I just want my husband back, and please, if you see him, call the police. It was surreal watching her beg for a man she betrayed. I didn't feel satisfaction exactly. It wasn't joy. It was colder than that. Like justice with the warmth stripped out of it. They didn't know where I was. They didn't even know who I was anymore. And for now, that was exactly the way I wanted it. After the news broke, things moved fast. The missing person posters went up all over town. My face on every telephone pole, gas station, and diner window. A photo from 5 years ago, me squinting in the sun, half a smile, wearing the flannel Karen used to say made me look rugged. Funny how that shirt became the official face of the tragedy. But the real show started online. Reddit got a hold of the story. So did a couple true crime Facebook groups. YouTubers started making little slideshow videos about the mysterious disappearance of Tom Reynolds. They called me a hardworking man, a loyal husband, the quiet type. One guy said I was probably murdered. Another said I faked my death and was watching it all unfold from a beach in Mexico. He wasn't that far off. I watched everything from the cabin. Burned through batteries to keep that little black and white TV going. Sat wrapped in a blanket, eating instant noodles and watching the world lose its mind over me. But the real moment, the one I'd been waiting for, came exactly 5 days after they found the truck. Karen cracked. There she was on live TV again, holding a press conference with the police behind her. Same blanket. Same tired eyes. Only this time, someone must have tipped the reporters off. One of them asked, right there in front of the cameras. Karen, is it true your husband found out you were having an affair before he went missing? She froze. Blinked like someone just slapped her across the face. Another reporter chimed in. There are rumors about your brother-in-law. Can you confirm the nature of your relationship? Her mouth opened but nothing came out. Then she started crying. Harder than before. The kind of crying that isn't for the cameras. The kind that looks like regret or maybe just getting caught. I leaned in close to the screen, barely breathing. And just behind her, over her shoulder, Rick. Looking pissed. He wasn't standing next to her this time. He was off to the side, arms crossed, jaw tight, eyes darting around like a man realizing his life is about to go up in flames. A reporter tried to ask him something. He turned and walked away. Karen stood there, breaking apart in front of the entire town, the whole state, probably half the internet, and for the first time it looked real. Not performative. Not controlled. Just wrecked. And I watched it all with the sound turned up, nodding slowly, spoon halfway to my mouth. No fists thrown. No shouting matches. No courtroom drama. Just the quiet kind of revenge most people never get to see play out. I'd given them silence. And now the whole world was filling in the blanks for me. By week 3, things started unraveling fast. I was sitting in the cabin, sipping bad instant coffee, flipping through static channels when I saw it, a photo of Rick with some woman I didn't recognize. Blonde. Tan. Big sunglasses. The kind of girl who looks like she gets paid in compliments and cocktails. They were walking out of a restaurant, hand in hand, smiling like they didn't have a care in the world. The caption under the photo said, "New girlfriend?" Karen Reynolds' brother-in-law spotted with mystery woman amid missing person scandal. Mystery woman. I couldn't stop laughing. I went and cracked open the last can of chili like it was champagne. Because here it was my reward. Rick had bailed. He jumped ship the second things got ugly. Didn't even stick around to pretend he cared. Left Karen to drown in it alone. Classic snake move. I checked her social media, yeah, I still had a fake account. Had to watch the show somehow. Karen's profile had changed completely. No smiling selfies. No couple photos. Just vague quotes about regret and betrayal. Stuff like, "Some people will love you until it's no longer convenient." Her comments were brutal. Strangers calling her a liar, a cheater, the reason he's gone. People accusing her of pushing me to the edge. One guy even said she should be arrested. Every time she posted something, even a recipe, the comments would flood in. Did Tom like this meal before you broke his heart? Maybe try being faithful next time. Hope it was worth it. I'll admit it, I read every single one. Not because I wanted her to suffer forever, but because I wanted her to feel even a sliver of the abandonment I felt that night outside the movie theater. And now she had it. All of it. No husband. No boyfriend. Just a broken house, a mountain of guilt, and the entire internet reminding her every day what she'd done. It didn't fix me. Didn't patch the hole in my chest. But it helped. It helped a lot. I stayed in the cabin for a little over a month. Long enough for the story to cool down. For the search parties to stop combing the woods. For the news coverage to fade into recycled clips and online theories. Eventually, I stopped checking the websites. Stopped watching the late-night interviews. Stopped reading the comments under Karen's posts. I didn't care anymore. They could believe I was dead. Missing. Taken by the lake. Whatever made the story easier to swallow. Truth is, I wasn't hiding anymore. I was done. I packed up what little I had left, cleaned the place the best I could, and left the keys under the mat. I sold the truck to a guy who didn't ask questions, paid in cash, and probably filed the VIN off the same day. I bought a bus ticket under a different name, a quiet name, simple and forgettable. And I rode west. Took 2 days. Slept upright, ate gas station sandwiches, stared out the window at towns I'd never see again. Felt like I was shedding skin at every state line. When I stepped off the bus, I had nothing but a backpack, $500 in cash, and the kind of silence you only earn by burning your old life to the ground. I found a job fixing up cabins at a lakeside resort. Nothing fancy, just paint, wiring, the occasional roof patch. The owners didn't ask much about who I was or where I came from. They paid in cash. Gave me a room over the workshop. It wasn't much. But it was mine. And for the first time in years, I could breathe without waiting for the rug to be yanked out from under me. I started walking in the mornings. Watching the sun rise over the hills. Drinking coffee out of a chipped mug with no name on it. Some nights, I even smiled without realizing it. Then, one morning, I sat down with a pen and a blank sheet of paper. I didn't plan it. Didn't rehearse it. I just started writing. Karen, I'm alive. That's all you need to know. I'm not coming back. I won't say where I am and you won't find me. You ruined something good. Something real. And now you get to live with that. You can cry on TV. You can play the grieving wife. But deep down, you know what you did. You didn't just break my heart. You killed the life we had. But I survived. And I'm doing just fine. Tom. I folded it up. No return address. Just my name at the bottom. Dropped it in a mailbox halfway across town. Then I walked away. No guilt. No fear. No looking over my shoulder. Just a man, dead on paper, finally living for real.